Uh, Good evening, guys. Welcome to our FGM IT Training Solutions and for manual testing or functional testing classes. And this is our day 5 class. And till yesterday, we have covered all the SDLC models and what are the terminologies we are used in the IT industries. Okay. So from today onwards, we are actual classes are going to start like complete testing concepts. Okay. So we'll start with our class for today. Let me share the whiteboard. Okay. So we'll discuss completely now the black box testing. Discuss it completely about black box testing. Who will do the black box testing? Venkatesh.
Static testing will.
Who will do the black box testing?
System testing testers.
Yes, system testing will comes under black box testing. Who will do that black box testing or system testing? Which team plays on board? Venkatesh, you are the only person who joined starting of the class. Why you are unable to say the answers?
The software testers.
Who will perform the lot. Lot. Who will do this? Your people. Who will do this? The QA team or testing team. Black box testing done by the QA team or testing team under the testing phase of SDLC model. Okay. So okay. Now we'll go through our main classes. So we'll discuss more on system testing now itself. Okay. So all the testers comes under black box testers. Means all functional testers or automation testers or performance testers or DB testers or ETL testers. Whatever. Okay. All comes under the all will fall under only black box testing. Okay. So let's focus on the black box testing. Okay. The black box testing. It's also called as system testing. Okay, this is the main phase where we will fall under this. Okay, this is the main phase under phase. Under system testing phase, will fall under this. Okay, so here manual or functional testers. Okay, what manual testers responsibilities are? What manual testers responsibilities are? First, understand the requirement. Okay, then so how we will understand that how we will understand is describes the quality of the test case. How could we know that we are well understanding the requirement? The quality of the test cases that we have written. So if you all well understand the requirements clearly, then you can create a good test cases, and those test cases will be able to find more bugs. That is the more responsible job for the testers, means finding more and more defects in the software application. So the base is we need to understand clearly the requirements, and then we need to write the test cases. The best thing for the testers is, for the functional tester, manual test is needs to understand clearly the requirements, and then we need to write the test cases. Okay, what is test case? Yesterday I have said, right, what is test cases? Means it is a step-by-step action we need to perform on the application. So test case means is a step by step action Okay, a step-by-step action that we need to perform on the application, and also we need the actual output and expected output, and also we need to verify the actual output and actual output and expected output. Okay, we need to verify both actual output and expected output. Based on this only, we will find more and more bugs, or we finally the output of the application is a quality software application. So once writing test cases is done, we will do start executing, and this find defects and report them, and also need to be participate in review meetings. Okay, so all these activities will be done by the test engineers. Okay, what test engineers will do? Write the test cases, execute the test cases,
Elaborate with this.
defects logging, and reports. So all these, etc. All these activities will be done by the test engineers or QA people or testers. Okay, whatever you call. If you are doing automation, then you have to do additionally. If you have automation, additional what we have to do, we have to write coding and execute them and prepare a report for all the failed ones, and to prepare a status reports to the manager. At the end of the day, we need to prepare the status report, and we have to present it to the manager. So and so today we have covered so these many test cases. Out of this we have found these many issues, and out of this we have found high priority issues. We have to get report by the end of the day or end of the week. In some companies ask for end of the day, and in some companies ask end of the week. We have to submit that report to the manager. Okay, so these are all the different activities involved during the system testing. Okay, and as a test engineer, we will do lot of testing here. So here different types of testing means so these testings will be done like two categories. One is functional testing, one is functional testing, and another is non-functional testing. Okay, so testing will be into two categories. One is functional testing and another is non-functional testing. So functional testing means we will do functional testing. We will do what is, sorry, is will do like a system testing. Okay, security testing. Okay, some DB testings. Okay, some ETL testings. All this will comes under the functional testing. What is comes under the system testing? Okay, some security testing, some DB testing, etc. Like we have cookies testing, sessions testing. All these comes under the functional testing. Okay, and performance testing, and coming to non-functional testing means performance. Stress testing, load testing. All this comes under the non-functional testing. So as a system testing, we will do lot of testings. It will take lot of time, and before performing any testing, we should thoroughly understand the requirements. After understand the requirements, we have to prepare the test cases, and the main activity of the tester is to find out more and more defects. What is the main activity of the tester is to find more defects. The defects are bugs. Okay, defects are bugs. So as soon as we find the defects, we need to report and assign it to developers. Okay, as I said yesterday, so whenever we found any issues or defects or bugs, immediately what we'll do, we'll raise a ticket and assign to the developer. how to raise the ticket I will tell in the module 2. Okay, and while talks about the Jira. Okay, at that time we can discuss how to create the ticket, but let's assume now itself. Okay, so once the developer fixes the defect, we need to verify and close the defect. So whenever we assign a defect to a developer, what the developer will do, he will fix that issue or defect, and after fixing that, after testing, unit testing is done by the developer. Okay, that issue has been fixed, and immediately he will assign the ticket to QA person or tester to verify that bug is resolved or not. Okay, so that is the main activity of the tester. So now we will discuss about the test design techniques. Okay, so far clear? Functional testing, non-functional testing, all the what is the covered so far. Any questions or any clarification required or not at all understand, means please raise your voice now. Otherwise, I will continue. Clear?
Please continue, sir.
Sorry?
Please, sir, continue.
Continue. Okay. So now we'll discuss about test design test design techniques. Okay, this is very important one, and also in many interviews, this concept will come. Okay, not only in interviews, if you guys want to write any certifications like ISTP certification, also these techniques will ask. Okay, so like what are test design techniques used at the time of writing test cases? Okay, the main important role of test engineer is writing the test cases and understand the requirements. So test case means it is a step-by-step process to perform on the application. Okay, for example, if we want to test a login page, okay, let me let's say this is a login page. This is username. This is username field, and this is password field. Let's say this is button login. Okay, let's assume this is an any bank application login page. Okay, so for example, we are taking a login page. We'll talk how to write the test cases for this login page. The first step is enter the okay. Let's say this is browser URL. Okay, here you are. This is URL. Okay, so in order to go to this login page, we have to go with, let's say I open a browser. Okay, I want to go to any browser, means like any application, means let's say I will talk about SBI online, right? Online SBI.com. Okay, I enter this like this. Okay, then I got a home page like this. Okay, the first step what we have done is here is first we opened a browser, and then we have entered the URL in the URL bar, and then we are seeing the login page. Okay, in the login page we have username, password, some captcha field, and login button, right? So in the, okay, what the first step we have taken here is, the first step is we have open a browser and then enter the URL and then entering the username field and then entering the password field and then pressing the login button. Here how many steps we have came? The first step is
URL.
the first step is open browser. With the browser, the next step is enter URL. The next is username. Next is password and next is login. Okay, so for the login page, the first step is entering the, first step is open the browser and the next step is enter the URL and the next step is enter username, next step is password and next step is click on the login button. And after clicking on the login button, we'll see that it is redirected to the so and so particular software application home page or not, right? So these are the sequential manner we have to write test cases in this way. Okay, we have to write a test cases in this way. So the main job of tester is writing a test case, but at the time of writing a test case and a few scenarios and few areas, we need to use certain techniques. Okay, some certain techniques, okay, some to design the test data. So let me give you some examples here where we need to use a kind of techniques. So I have a text field. Okay, this is username is a text field. Okay, there I have a text field. This is username. Now I will tell how to write a test case for the username field. Okay, so I have a text field like this. So I want to check whether this text field is I need to enter username. So as per my requirements, I enter username between minimum 4 characters and maximum 8 characters. Okay, as per my requirement, I need to enter username between minimum 4 characters and maximum 8 characters. Means minimum 4 to 8, between 4 to 8 characters only I need to enter username, right? So here and one more, okay, like this, 4 and 8 characters, and also one more is I need to enter only lowercase letters only, that is small a to small z. Okay? Lowercase a to lowercase z. So this is my requirement. So what is my requirement for the username field? That is minimum 4 characters and maximum 8 characters, and it should allow only lowercase letters only, that is from lowercase a to z. Okay, so this is my character. So in the so clear, the requirement is clear. Speak up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Otherwise, it again.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Here, for the username, now we are writing the test case for the username field. I will tell you how to write the test case now. What is my requirement? Before writing any test cases, that we have to clear with the requirements. Okay, we have to clear with the requirements. Okay, for the username field, I have the requirement is minimum 4 and maximum 8 characters. Okay, which is only lowercase letters. Okay, so in the username text box, I can add minimum 4 characters and maximum 8 characters. This is called as a range. Okay, minimum 4 and maximum. Okay, this requirement, this one we can call it as a range. Call it as a minimum 4 maximum characters. We can call it as a range. Okay, here what is the range? Minimum 4 characters and maximum 5 characters. Okay. Okay, so it accepts only lowercase letters. So are all the lowercase letters. So this is called as, will comes under the values. Okay, lowercase letters will comes under the value. So what is the range of, what is my range for the username field is minimum 4 characters, 8 characters. What is the value is, only we can enter only lowercase letters. Okay, so this is called, and based on this requirement I need to prepare some test data. Okay, now you have the test case and we have the requirements, and you need to prepare a test data. Test data means what are the data that you are entering in the username field. Okay, the test data is something that you are going to perform in the test execution. Okay, by passing some input data. Okay, this kind of test, this is called a scenario. Okay, now how many kinds of inputs, okay, in order to test this field. So how many inputs required? Normally means, suppose let's take a range here. Okay, let's take a range here. Range is 4 to 8, right? So if we test 4, if we test 4, our test should pass. Or if I test with 8, our test should pass. Okay, if I enter username, right? I have entered 4 letters. Let's say A, B, C, D. Okay, this should pass because I have entered minimum 4 characters. Okay, this test case should pass. And if I have given E, G, H, okay, now I have given 8 characters. Okay, it should also pass because our requirement minimum 4 and maximum 8. So I have given between 4 to 8. So our test case will pass. So our test should pass. And also we need to check here invalid scenarios. Okay. Also scenario, Venkat, can be yourself in mute until I. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have entered here 8 characters. So this test case will pass. Okay, this is something like a positive flow. Okay, positive test case is fine. And we have to concentrate more on the invalid scenarios, that we can call it as a negative test cases. Okay, we have to work on invalid scenarios. Okay, invalid scenarios means whatever we are giving beyond 4 to 8 characters, okay, that it should not accept. Okay, let's say suppose if I given less than 4 characters. Okay, I have given only 4 less than 4 characters. Okay, less than 4 means 3 or 2 or 1 or none. Okay, so let's say I have given A, B, C. So this test case should fail because I have given minimum 4 and I have the maximum is 8. So I have given 4. If I click on login button, I will get some error message by saying minimum characters is 4 characters you need to enter. Okay, so we have to think in this way also. Okay, beyond minimum 4 characters and beyond maximum 8 characters. Okay, so if I given less than 4, if I given 3 characters, it should fail. Okay, if I give 2 characters, it should fail. If I give 1 character, it should fail. If I give none also, it should fail because I have to enter minimum 4 characters. If I given only 3 or 2 or 1, it should fail. Okay, until and I give 4 characters. If I give 4 characters, it should pass. If I give less than 4 characters, it should pass. Okay, now I will give 5 characters. Is it pass or fail? Someone?
Pass.
Sorry?
Pass.
Pass or fail? I'm not
Pass.
able to hear it. Pass. Why? It is pass.
Yes, we
Reason?
give maximum 8.
So the range is between 4 to 8.
Right.
So that is the way you pass. Okay, if I give 6 characters, it should also
That's
pass.
short passed.
If I give 7 characters,
It's also got a pass.
also pass. If I give 8 characters,
Also passed.
sorry,
It's also pass.
Also passed.
if I give 9 characters,
Hey,
Fail. Fail.
why?
maximum range of
Eight
we reach
characters.
more than one.
Is 8. So
Eight.
that's why it will fail. Okay. So between 4 to 8 it will pass. Behind 4 or beyond 8 it should fail. Okay. In this way you have to consider while writing the test cases. Okay. Now you got to understand, right, how to write test cases for a single field. Okay. If I give more than 8, all these will fail. So in order to test this, we need to test all the possible inputs. Okay. We need to check all the possible inputs. Here, how many possible inputs we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 10. So we have here we have seen up to 10 possible inputs, out of which only few are pass, few are fail. Okay. So if this text field label is small, it is okay. If we are this text field is small, that's the reason we are able to quickly check, and we can check whether it is passing or failing. So because of it is a small. What happens if I have the range is minimum 100 characters? Uh, okay, if I have range is minimum 10 and the maximum is 100, can we test all the possible scenarios? We can test, but it takes a lot of
One
time.
lot of time.
Okay, a lot of time, because we need to test before beyond 10 and behind 10.
Will bring it down.
Test in 10 to 100, and also we need to test beyond 100. So all these are taking lengthy time. Okay. So we cannot test all kinds of inputs like this. But if we don't test all these, our test cannot be completed, right? If we won't complete all this testing, we cannot say that this is a quality one or not. So we have to test all the possible input. For this is a lengthy process, right? So in order to write the lengthy process, for us also it is a time taker. So what we need to do, this is to reduce our testing. To reduce our testing, but we have to complete this kind of scenarios then. Okay. Here we have to reduce our testing now, and also we have to cover all the possible cases. So okay, so we need to test minimal test data, and which is also our complete application scenario. So that's how we need to prepare the test data. So to prepare that kind of test data, we need to follow certain techniques in testing. Okay, so we'll follow certain techniques in testing. Now let us see what are the testing techniques that we are used during the testing, or during testing writing the test cases. Okay. For that, I will open a PPT that I have. And I will open the PPT. So you guys able to see the PPT? What I'm?
No, sir.
No.
Sorry, whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
Okay, let me share that as well. Now,
Yeah, yes.
right? Okay. We have three different. Okay, I will share this material to you also. Okay, you can ask. You can reach to Pawan. He will share this material. Okay, those who have confirmed the classes. Okay, so we have here three different types of techniques that we are using to design the test cases in a project or product. The three techniques are: one is BVA. Note down these points. Okay, one is BVA, boundary value analysis. Second is ECP, equivalence class partition, and third is error guessing. Okay, so we need to check all these possible conditions. Okay. Okay. Let me reshare the white screen.
Slide.
Yeah. What are the test design techniques? DBA, ECP, and error case. Okay. So the main intention of applying this test design technique is to we need to test completely to should completely ensure we should cover all the kinds of test scenarios with minimal data. Okay, with minimum. We cannot test with huge data, right? We cannot test with huge data sets. So it is a lengthy process and takes a lot of time. So to reduce the data and should cover each and everything like positive or negative or invalid scenarios aspects, that in the reason, that is the reason we apply test design techniques. Okay, we the why the reason, what is the reason behind to apply the test design techniques is for the lengthy things we cannot test all the possible cases. We can test, but it takes some days of time. So in order to reduce the time and can increase the quality of the testing, we use these three types of design techniques. Okay, now let's see so now these are the design techniques. Okay, and one more thing we have also is state we have one is state transition. So these are all the few techniques we have, and if you are going for certification courses also, these are all four. You'll get lot of questions on these techniques. So we will go with examples with each and every technique so that you can get better understanding. Okay, so we'll go each and every. Please concentrate on more. Okay, we'll discuss with first the BVA. Okay, what is BVA is?
Value.
Value analysis. Okay, so what is this BVA means? So BVA is based on testing at boundaries between the partitions. Okay, so in our example, so this is username field, right? Let's say this is our username field. Okay, so we will see how BVA and ECP, these are the combinations. Okay, we will see some example. Okay, now let's take a previous example of username text label. Okay, how to prepare test data using these two, BVA and ECP. Okay, in this two we'll see. So as I said earlier, that this it accepts only 4 to 8 characters only. Accept only 4 to 8 characters only, with only lower cases only, with lower case. Okay, to C. Okay, this is our requirements. Okay, now what is BVA means? It will talk about only range. BVA talks about only range. What is range here is 4 to 8 characters. Okay, BVA talks about only range. BVA talks about only range. So BVA is called a range of data. Okay, range of verification means what is the maximum and what is the minimum. It will talk about range only. Okay, and ECP we have ECP as well, right? Yeah. Okay, ECP will talks about only value. Okay, ECP talks about only what exactly it is allowing. Okay, here what is exactly we are allowing the values is lowercase a to z. Okay, we have only values is lowercase value. So BVA is range, means we have to check minimum 4 characters and maximum 8 characters, and ECP we have to check is lowercase, what is the values that we are going to enter. Okay, now we'll see the example for BVA. Is as per my requirement, it is saying BVA is saying only 4 to 8 characters, right? So if we say 4 to 8 characters are eligible, so behavior techniques divide the boundaries like. So boundaries, okay, this is let's say example, this is a boundary and here is 4 and maximum is 8, right? So what is the minimum is 4 and maximum is 8. So in behavior, we'll take 6 parameters totally. Okay, we'll take how many parameters in the behavior? We'll take about 6. Okay, we'll take 6 parameters. Totally, we'll take 6 parameters. So if we cover 6 parameters, then the whole testing is completed. We no need to test with other inputs as well. So if we check with the 6 possible parameters, we no need to check even for lengthy also. Okay, you see how to write these 6 parameters that we'll discuss now. Okay, suppose if we want to test this completely, okay, this completely username field. Okay, suppose we want to test this username completely, like positive of both positive and negative testing. What are the inputs that we are going? Here is 4 characters, 5 characters, and 6 characters, 7 character, 8 characters. These are all valid, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 4 is possible way, 5 is possible, 6 is possible, 7 is possible, and 8 is possible. So all these are possible cases, right? So these are all valid characters. Other than this 4 to 8, okay, other than this 4 to 8, okay, rest of them are invalid. Okay, if I give other than 4 to 8, whatever we are giving, those are all invalid. But there are n number of characters we have other than this 4. So we cannot test all these, right? So like before 4 characters we cannot test, and after 8 characters we cannot test. Instead of covering all these numbers, will all the sets of data we can reduce the data, only we can test the boundary. So for example, this is the minimum and this is the maximum. So if you want to cover this range, we need to take 6 parameters. I told you there is only 6 parameters. Okay, one is minimum, one is 6 parameters, one is minimum, 4 characters. I said minimum, that should pass. That's our expectation. And if we enter maximum number of characters, that is also called, that is also passed. Minimum 4 is passed, maximum 8 is passed. Now at the boundary level, if we take 2 parameters, let's say 4 minus 1, 3. Okay, this is called minimum minus 1. Okay, this is called minimum minus 1. If I say 3, what is the expected is? If I say give 3 is, what is the expected is? Should fail, right? Here minimum plus 1. Okay, and minimum plus 1 is 5, and here minimum plus 1 is 5. I will be add one more, which is 5. For 5 means it should pass. So if we cover these 3, so for the minimum, if we cover these 3, like minimum plus 1, minimum value, and minimum plus 1, like what? Minimum, minimum minus minimum plus. Okay, if we test these 3 possible parameters, we can say we have done with our minimum characters testing. Okay, if we talk this boundary value, if we do these 3 possible parameters, then we can say this test case will pass. Okay, now coming to maximum, here also we have 3 possible cases. One is maximum, maximum minus, and maximum plus. Okay, here we'll see. So minimum I have given is 4 characters. Is it pass or fail? Come on, speak up.
Pass, sir.
Minimum minus 1, pass or fail?
Fail.
Minimum plus 1,
Pass.
right? So we have done testing for the minimum boundary values. Now maximum values. Now Maximum will pass or fail?
Pass. Pass.
Maximum minus 1.
Pass.
Maximum plus 1.
Fail.
Right. Because should not accept more than 8 characters. So we need to cover only boundaries like minimum plus 1, minimum minus 1. So here we have how many parameters we have covered? 6 parameters, right? So for minimum, minimum minus 1, minimum plus 1. For maximum, maximum minus 1, maximum plus 1. So we have covered 6 parameters. If we do this type of testing, even here we have only 4 to 8. That's the reason you guys have easily done. But now our requirement is minimum 10 and maximum 100. Okay, how we can resolve? So if we apply the same technique here
Same
also.
techniques.
Okay, now okay, minimum is 10. It should pass. Now minimum minus 1, how much?
Pass.
Minimum
9,
minus
9, 9.
9.
9
Fail.
is pass or fail?
Fail.
Fail. Next minimum plus 1,
Pass.
pass. Minimum plus 1 is 11. No, so it's
11.
pass.
Pass.
So we don't need to test entire all the till 10, 11 to 99. Okay, because it's all under the range. It should pass. Okay, now we'll go to the maximum. So maximum is 100.
Pass.
So it will pass. So maximum minus 1,
Pass.
pass. Maximum is 19. So it should
Pass.
pass. Okay, and next maximum plus 1,
Fail.
101. It should fail. So blindly you should remember for, while writing this test case. Okay, this type of test case we have to keep in mind BVA. Okay, so for BVA we have to follow these rules. Okay, minimum plus 1, minimum minus 1. For maximum also maximum plus 1, maximum minus 1. Okay, these 6 parameters we have to consider while writing the boundary and value analysis. Okay, for range we have to consider these 6 parameters. Clear?
At least.
So this is called BVA. It's also called as range. Okay, now let's take one more example. Okay, we are taking all this. So BVA will mainly focus only on the range or boundaries of data. Okay, now we'll discuss more on the ECP. Okay, but coming to ECP, equivalent class partition, right? So ECP will verify actual value of the data. Okay, let's see the difference here. Okay, so here in the username field label, the same requirements like minimum 4 and maximum, and it should allows only lowercase letters. Okay, ECP mainly talks on the values that what we are going to enter. Okay, so for the same thing I used to prepare data based on these 2 techniques, BVA plus ECP. So for ECP we will divide the data like this. So valid criteria, how will it is? For ECP we have valid and valid. Okay, so we have to consider mainly focus on valid and invalid. So as per my requirement, what is the value of data is small a to z. So that is only lowercase. Other than this, everything is invalid. So valid is lowercase a to z. Okay. Invalid means rest of not equals to small a to z. Whatever you have given beyond a to z, like capital A to z or numbers 0 to 9 or any special characters, all this comes under invalid. Only valid is lowercase letters. Okay, rest of all is invalid, right? So let's say, so when you prepare test data, we need to consider only this valid part. Okay, when you prepare any test data, we need to consider only valid part. Okay, this is kind of categorization, what is valid and what is invalid irrespective of BVA and ECP. So in BVA most focus is on range, and in ECP more focus on the value entered into the text box. So whenever you see text boxes, you should apply both BVA and ECP techniques. Okay, whenever you see in the text box, we have to apply these two ECP and BVA techniques. So in BVA we have 6 partitions, and in ECP we have only 2 partitions, valid and invalid. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
BVA talks about only BVA talks about only
Range.
ECP talks about only
Value.
what we are entering the input data that it talks about. So ECP talks about only valid. Okay, ECP talks about only valid. You can test invalid also by giving rather than a to small a to z, and we have to check the expected and actual output. Okay, so clear, right? For the text box, whatever you are writing, the test case you have to consider in mind both BVA and ECP.
CP.
Things we need to consider. Okay, clear? Any questions
Yeah.
or any clarification required, please let me know.